Hello, and welcome to the second installment of the LOC Application How-To video series. In this video, you'll learn how to submit an LOC date change. To begin, start from the home page of the LOC application. Then, move your mouse over the area that says IDS. IDS stands for Individual Data System. A menu will then appear and you'll see a number of tiles, all of which will take you to a different area of the application. In this example, we'll select Individuals. This page shows you a list of all the active individuals in your county. To find the specific person you are working with, use the search bar on the right side of the screen. Once you've typed the person's last name, hit Enter, and your search results will be displayed like this. Next, click on the name of the person you are working with. The page that is currently loading is this specific individual's front page. You may have noticed that while this page loads, it automatically scrolls itself down to the bottom of the page. A yellow bar appears at the bottom of the page once it is fully loaded. In general, when working within the LOC application, it is strongly recommended that you let pages load fully before attempting to click on an item. If you don't allow a page to load fully, it is likely that you may end up freezing the application and have to go back to the home page to start over. To avoid this potential frustration, be patient. Once pages are fully loaded, they are typically quite responsive. You'll also notice that there is a great deal of demographic information about the individual on their front page. However, none of it is able to be edited. The yellow bar we saw earlier that indicated the page was fully loaded also tells us that the entire page we're viewing is read-only. You may also notice that there are a number of fields that contain no information. This is due to the fact that the front page is based on a template that some counties in Ohio have begun using for their assessment and ISP called Imagine. In Cuyahoga County, we are not using this particular template, so these fields will always be empty. The next step is to move your mouse onto the downward-facing arrow that is next to the name of the person you work with. A menu will then appear, and you'll see a number of tiles, all of which will take you to a different area of the application. In this example, we'll select LOC Date Change. To find this tile, first click on the right-facing arrow in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Then click LOC Date Change. The page you see here will become familiar to you over time, as many different parts of the application use this same layout. You can always tell which area of the application you are in by reading the header found on this part of the screen. In this example, we're submitting an LOC date change, so we know we're in the right place. Below the header, you'll find a button that says Add New LOC Date Change. When you click on this button, a new window will open that looks like this. You'll see that many of the fields on this form are pre-populated. Also, you may notice that several of them have little lock icons next to them. This means that these fields are locked and cannot be edited. Fields that can be edited are represented by two small dashes, like this. For LOC date changes, there are only a few fields you'll need to complete. The first is the proposed LOC end date. This is important because it tells the application the new LOC date that is being requested by taking the next calendar day from whatever you enter in this field. For example, if you were to choose June 28th as the proposed LOC end date, the new LOC date would become June 29th. Another example, if you chose January 10th as the proposed LOC end date, then January 11th would become the new LOC date. Once you have selected the proposed LOC end date, you have to select a reason for the change. You can see that there are three standard choices: moving into a setting and aligning span dates with roommates, self-waiver classification change, and other. If you select Other, a text box appears in which you can input the reason. In this example, we'll pick the first option, moving into a new setting. Once you've selected the reason, you need to scroll to the bottom of the form to check off one last box, the attestation to LOC date change. When this is complete, check your work for accuracy, then click Save and Close to complete the process. You'll be taken back to the LOC date change screen, where you'll be able to see the form you just submitted. Over time, if multiple LOC date changes are submitted, they will appear here as well.